Hello there and welcome along to the Saturday preview here on horseracing.net's YouTube channel. Thanks so much if you tuned in last week for the Glorious Goodwood videos. Hopefully you all made a little profit, and we're going to be taking a look this week at the racing due to take place on Saturday. Now, it would normally be Shergar Cup Day at Ascot. That isn't taking place this year due to the coronavirus pandemic, of course, but probably the best racing is on the Sunday. We've got two Group 1 races, the Prix Maurice de Guise over in France and the Phoenix Stakes at the Curragh as well. Won't be covering them in this video, but if you're interested in those, do head over to horseracing.net. There will be previews for both races on there over the weekend, so do head over there. And if you are enjoying these videos, if you find yourself coming back for more, do like and subscribe as well. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Saturday's action, in particular the televised action, and we're going to try and crack the ITV7. Now, I'm sure you know what that is. It's ITV's interactive game, much like the Super 6. There's a prize if you can guess or pick all 7 winners, £50,000 up for grabs. Hopefully, can give you a couple of pointers in the right direction. So the 7 races, to start with the 225 at Ascot, the only race of the day with Shergar Cup and its title. It's a celebration handicap. 10 runners due to go to post for this 1 mile contest, and pretty open. Interesting to see Shalia sit pretty prominently in the market for the David Elmira team. Very, very shrewd operation, and he's been shaping pretty well of late. 2 good runs here over 7 furlongs, either side of another decent run at Haydock Park. He very much catches the eye, and his mark is very much sliding as well, down to a career low mark here of 92, one to keep an eye on, especially with the market coming for him. Game player is another interesting type here for Roger Varian. Haven't seen him for 372 days, but they are more than capable of bringing him back. If he's fit, he would be shaping on a pretty decent mark as well. And you can't ignore Casbarn either. Michael Appleby, owned by the Horse Watchers, one of the shrewdest operations around. He could be lurking on a decent mark at around 7 to excuse me, but at around 7 to 1. But the vote goes the way of the Godolphin runner, Jalad, for Saeed bin Saror. He built on his opening 2 runs last time out to score at York in first-time cheap pieces. He won in a competitive event and showed a really good attitude that day as well to pull clear of the field in the closing stages, winning by about 3/4 length. That came over this distance. Now, I think he's a good proposition here. He's raised £5 for that run. He's got the cheap pieces fitted again. He strikes me as one who is heading in the right direction now, and about 11 to 4, he makes the most appeal for me in the first race. So that's Jalad. Second race on ITV is at Haydock Park. It's the 240. It's a group action as well. Group 3 Rose of Lancaster Stakes. And there's a familiar name in here in the form of Zaki, a regular in this sort of sphere, regular group performer. Hasn't quite shown the level of form he's capable of so far. He was 6th in the Summer Mile Stakes behind Mahatha last time out. He is likely to run his race, but what I would say here is I think it's very, very difficult to look past the favourite, Global Giant. He switched from Ed Dunlop to John Gosling at the start of the year, and he's been in very good form so far in those 3 starts. Made a winning debut for the Yard at Wolves in a conditions race back in January. Returned from a break at Sandown and built on that when winning at listed level at Newbury last time out. The bare form of that looks pretty strong in this sort of race. I think he's heading in the right direction now. Frankie Dettori booked to ride. He looks the bet in this race. So Global Giant in the 240 at Haydock. The next race is the 250 at Newmarket. This is a nursery 7 furlong race, 7 runners due to go to post, and this is a handicap for the 2-year-olds. So some form, but not the most form in the world. So pretty interesting heat to get stuck into. And it is no surprise to see a Steep prove pretty popular in the markets at the time of recording. And that is because he's well related on paper, son of Muhara, and also a half-brother to the talented Stayer Big Orange. I remember him, and he's shown plenty on his 2 starts so far. I thought he stayed on really well to finish 3rd on his second outing at Newbury last time out. That came over 6 furlongs. Should be more to come from him. But I think you could bump into one here in the form of Magisterium, who represents the Michael Dodds team. Now, she's been really productive already so far. She's raced just 3 times. She's beaten a neck on debut at Doncaster over 6, and she's comes here on the back of 2 victories as well. Got off the mark at Redcar in June in good style, and followed up at Newcastle last time out. She's shown a really good attitude so far. She showed an excellent she showed plenty to win at Newcastle last time out, conceded first run, so did really well to win there. There should be a lot more to come from her yet, I think. Her opening mark of 81 looks pretty fair, and just bearing in mind that she's already got plenty of experience for this sort of level and this age under her belt. She's got a very willing attitude. I think that she can put that experience to good use and just prove a real tough nut to crack. So Magisterium is the pick for me, but I will say that also, High Peak can't be ignored. He got off the mark at first last time out. But at the prices, I'd probably go for Magisterium, about 11-2 at the time of recording. So the next race is at Ascot. We've got a Stayers Handicap here, 2 miles. Some familiar names in here, none more so than Australis, who you may remember running an absolute stormer in the Northumberland Plate back in June. He was only just out-battled that day by Caravan of Hope, similarly progressive type. And yeah, he looks a really exciting prospect in this division, doesn't he? That was his first try over this trip at Newcastle last time out. He's open to plenty of improvement yet as just a 4-year-old. He's up £6 here, but there should be a lot more to come from him yet. And based on everyone he's facing, I think he rates as the best prospect in this field. Calor's probably the one to take him on with. He's been shaping well of late. Appeals as the type who's building up to something. This would be his first try over 2 miles. But Australis is proven over the distance, ran a stormer last time out, and shaped looks to me as one who's still lurking on a good mark. So he can justify favouritism in the 3 o'clock. Back to Haydock now for the 3:15. This is the Bet Victor Rumpy Money Novices Stakes. It's a 7 furlong contest, 12 runners due to go to post. And it's really interesting here to see Sansevero favourite for the James Tate team. Now, he switched yards. He made a winning debut back in February at Chelmsford for Archie Watson, and has very quickly switched to James Tate. I will say that his owner, Sheikh Juma, tends to have a lot of his horses with James Tate, so it isn't too much of a surprise. But be interesting to see how Sansevero fares on his first start. But he's very popular in the market for all that he probably sets a standard on what he's shown so far. He's very short in the market, about 6-5 favourite. And I think this is more open than the market would tell you. So could be worth taking him on at the prices. I think both the newcomers, Ajal and Fiero Speed, are interesting on their debuts, particularly if the market speaks for them. Altamar's another one to keep an eye on for powerful connections. Carries the Sheikh Hamdan colours, represents William Haggis. Didn't really show much on debut at Doncaster, bred to be much better than that as a son of Muharrar, likely to take a big step forward on second start. But I think the way to go here might be with King Fan, who represents Mark Johnston. Now, we haven't seen him for quite some time. He made his debut back in August of 2019 at Carlisle, so almost a year ago. And I thought he shaped pretty well, showed plenty of ability to finish 4.5 lengths behind the winner in 5th. We haven't seen him since, but I don't think that's too much of a worry for the Mark Johnston team. They're more than ready to get one ready after an absence. He should be ready to go here, bearing in mind that he's shown plenty of ability on debut, and with that experience under his belt, he just rates as a nice alternative at the prices to the favourite. I think he'll take a notable step forward here and could be the way to go at about 5-1 at the time of recording. The next race, penultimate race on ITV's 3:20, another group race. This is for the 2-year-old fillies. It's the Group 3 Sweet Stellara Stakes over 7 furlongs. And to put it simply, I think Fly Miss Helen is the way to go here. She's proving popular in the market. She's the first foal, €75,000 purchase to yearling, represents the Richard Hannon team, who have an excellent record with their 2-year-olds. And she made a really taking impression when winning debut at Newby last month. That came over 6 furlongs, and she just did it really, really well. Pulled away from the field very nicely in the closing stages. Appeals to me as a smart prospect. I think there'll be plenty more to come from her yet. The step up to 7 furlongs, the extra furlong here should suit her. And I think she'll take the step up into group company in her stride. So for me, Fly Miss Helen is the way to go. I think we're going to take her on. Danilova is probably the most interesting in opposition. Spirit of Bermuda as well impressed me with her attitude when winning at Goodwood, you may remember, last week. But Fly Miss Helen for me in the Pulsat race at Newmarket this week, Solera. Head back to Ascot for our final race, the Thames Hospice Handicap. This is over 1.5 miles, and 12 runners due to go to post here. There's some familiar names in here, none more so than the favourite, Haydock, who was a very progressive type last year, won 3 races over the summer, and is one to note. He has run twice so far this year. Shapes as though he's building up his fitness, he's building up to a run. He's dropped a pound in the weights. He's potentially lurking on a pretty decent mark. He's respected with race fitness now under his belt. Omni Vega's another one, unbeaten in 3 starts so far this year. That's come since a gelding operation as well, so he's clearly going the right way. He's definitely respected. I will say, though, that all 3 of those runs came on the all-weather. He'll need to translate that form back onto turf now and heads here on a career high mark. Fox Vardy's another one to note for King Power Racing, and what is a very open affair. He's a straightforward type, Fox Vardy, much like Jamie Vardy, his namesake in the football world. Should give this a good go, but then the way to go here was we look closely. He got back to winning ways in really good style over course and distance here last month. Shaped really well that day. Faces an 8-pound rise, but he'll be suited by the conditions, and he's a pretty lightly raced type for his age. I think he can take another step forward here by taking this. So there you go. They are the selections for this week's ITV7. Good luck if you do decide to follow any of them. Make sure you head back here next week for another video. Like and subscribe, and head over to horseracing.net for all the latest news and developments in the sport.